Hey, welcome back. I am going live tonight because I haven't uploaded videos for a few days, and that is because I hit some bumps in the road. So what I decided to do is combine the bumps that I hit in the road and what to do when you hit a bump in the road into one, and to come here and talk to you guys about it because everyone hits bumps in the road. And we're here talking about living our best lives. We're here talking about living our authentic lives. Great. So you do what I've suggested to do. And if you're new here, you should like, share, and subscribe. But you should also go check out some of my older videos where I talk about identifying your authentic self, as well as figuring out um, things that bring you joy, people who inspire you, so forth, so on. Watch my old videos. I don't have time to go into that right now because I've already addressed it. So we're going to go into something different. So you do those things and you're living your best life. That's where I was. Okay. I was doing those things. I was doing all these things that brought me joy. I was super happy. I felt so authentic. And then this shit hit the fan. Life happens. Now what? That's what we're talking about right now. So, what I decided, when life hits hard, these are the things you got to do. We're going to break them down, okay? First thing you're going to do is you're going to breathe, all right? Breathe deep. We've already talked about it. I can't breathe through my nose, but if you can, that's what's recommended. Breathe deep, hold it in, take in all that energy that's around you, and exhale slowly. Do that 3 times. I'm telling you, you're going to feel it right away. There are scientific talks about all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that. It works. Okay. The first thing you have to do when you realize, shit, I fucked up. Life just hit. A bump in the road just occurred. First thing to do is breathe. Okay. Because you got to deal with it. Breathe. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to evaluate. We're going to get out. There are a couple ways you can do this, okay? I'm doing it pen to paper, and that's what I recommend. If you really want to get down to the root of a problem, put pen to paper, sit down for a few minutes while you're taking that time that you much need for self-care. It's another video I did. Sit down, identify what's going on. I always say when there's a really big problem, you're really having a hard time hashing something out, sit down and ask yourself those really basic questions. Who, what, where, when, how, and why. Super basic stuff you remember from when you were this tall, first starting out in school. Yeah, that's what I did. Because I realized there was a problem. Things just, I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't checking in with you guys. I wasn't feeling vibrant. All right, let's identify the problems. Now, before I get into this, okay, couple things. Number one, I am telling you about my real life now. I'm a real person behind this camera and I have a real existence. I have a real personality. I have real shit happening in my world. With that said, this is a judgment-free zone. We do not quantify, oh, well, that problem isn't as big as my problem, blah, 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 and all that stuff, okay? These are small bumps in the road, okay? I get that. We're not going to quantify it. I'm breaking down my real shit right now. No judgment. All right. So we're going to start out. I had two issues that came up for me that I identified as being a reason that I wasn't living my authentic life and why I felt like there was just something off for the past week. Okay, so we're going to get to this. Why did I feel like shit? What was that bump in the road? Who caused it? Okay, my first problem, I hate to say this, but if you guys find me on here, you needed to hear this anyway. First problem was work people. People that I work with. What were they doing? They were bringing on some negative energy. Where was it taking place? At our work site. When did this happen? In the past week. How did it happen? To me, it was their energy that I was absorbing. Why did it happen? Because I had an empath fail. I didn't have my guard up. I let that energy seep into me. Okay? Now what? That's a big question. And this is how we handle these bumps. Okay, we've identified everything now. But now what do we do about it? In this case, I'm going to forgive myself for fucking up because I did. I let my guard down. I will then forgive them for, they have their own problems. They have to deal with their shit, their negative energy, their bad attitudes towards things here and there. That's on them. They have their reasons. I'm an empathic person. I need to forgive them for that. Okay, they didn't necessarily mean to do me harm. And to begrudge anybody, it's not going to get me any further in life, right? Forgive. I'm forgiving. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn from it. Next time, when I encounter somebody with a negative attitude and me being the empath that I am, I need to remember to keep my guard up and not absorb that energy. Boom. Does that really solve anything? Well, we're going to see because I'm going to be living proof over the next few days. I'm going to check in with you guys and we're going to follow up on this and talk about how this experience and how hashing it out like I have on the paper, identifying, using this little exercise, how it's working for me. Okay? So I'm gonna actually share one more thing, one more little bump in the road that happened this week. The who was me. I was the culprit. What happened? I had negative feelings. I allowed those negative feelings in, and I allowed my space to, allowed shit to hit the fan at home because I was busy dealing with my negative feelings. So where did this happen? Home. When did this happen? The past week. How did this happen? I was tired and I allowed things to pile up. And by that I mean your basic stuff. If you are somebody who runs a household, which I am, you might be familiar with just kind of that really mundane shit that we do, like the laundry and cooking and things like that. It matters to me, and I let it get a little bit out of control. And there's the how I was tired, and so I allowed things to pile up. Why did this happen? In this case, I do think it was partially justified. And again, this is me being very honest and working through what happened so that I can identify the problem and consequently solve it. It was a long week for me. It was a very difficult week at work, as I said. And I work a physical job, and this was definitely no exception. There was a lot of physical labor this past week, and I wasn't prepared for that amount necessarily. And so it was a little bit justified that I was tired and that it was difficult to keep up with things, because by the time I would get home from a long day, I didn't necessarily have the energy to do things. So I'm kind of saying it was a little bit justified. So now what? Again, I'm going to forgive myself. I am my own culprit, so I need to just forgive me. And I need to say, you did what you did. And even if it wasn't justified, I would still need to understand that it's already happened. Because again, in one of my previous videos, I talk about how, think of it like a tree, and your past is your root system, and you can't change it. Okay, go back and watch it. That's good information. We're going to talk more about that soon too, because that is really good information. So I'm going to forgive myself because it's in the past and I can't change it. And holding on to that is not going to benefit me. I think step one is always trying to forgive as much as you can. Next thing, I'm going to learn from it. And I think that's always going to be a staple as well. To learn from the experience that you had, learn from that trial, learn from that bump in the road. And what am I going to do next? I'm going to get back on track. Again, I'm going to check in with you guys, and we're going to talk about progress. And in this case, identifying what it means to get back on track. I want to get things tidied back up. I want to have my menu planned out, because that's something that I do. It's one of my responsibilities. And I want to feel like I'm happy again. I want to feel like I'm living my authentic best life. Because, like I said earlier, this past week, not so much. How does this help you? I'm giving you these really specific examples. Hopefully, if this part bored the shit out of you, you knew that you could click up these little dots up here and you could fast forward through it, like, or you could play it fast, get through it. But, you know, I'm breaking this down for you so that you can see step by step how I'm actually going to do something. And the reason I'm giving you guys such details is because I am willing to follow up, and I am willing to show you how this exercise really does work. This really is going to work. It sounds really simple, and I know that there are problems that can be much greater than the ones that I'm presenting here, but it's the same concept to work through it, even if it's something much larger. And again, you can't quantify how big your problem is compared to somebody else's. It is definitely how you take it that is going to determine the outcome of that. Your best bet is to accept that these things happen and try to look at each bump in the road as being a lesson. Figure it out, hash it out, go with it. If you have questions or you feel like your problems are beyond this and you're not really sure how to apply it to your situation, if you want to talk it out, you can email me. You can put a comment down below if you don't mind your identity being known, but my email, you'll find that information in the description box. My email is completely anonymous. Let's work through it. I want to show, I'm being very vulnerable here, talking about my real life, because I want to show you how it can work for you. And I want to help, just even if one person can be helped by this. But this is also part of a bigger plan we have to just live our best, authentic lives. All right. With all that said, if you found any value in this, please like, share, subscribe. Because I'm live, I totally want to say, hey, 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 we're finally meeting up. Exactly. And that's exactly what we're talking about. You hit something, this past week was very difficult for me. I know you and I were trying to connect, and I have been really super bogged down because I had a bad week. And so I decided I was going to come on here and say I had a bad week. And I let it affect me even getting to something that is really super important, which is coming out here and talking with all of you guys. And you definitely are one to take because I've been trying to, connect with you. So to address that right away, it's a live video. Who knows what's going to happen? Natik, if you're still on here, which it looks like you are, I am online right now. So you wanted to connect. So if you are available, we can figure this out. Just shoot me a message or something on Facebook. You know how to reach me. I am online right now, and I will be for a little bit. So yeah. At any rate, I'm going to be posting some more about this stuff, and I'm going to be following up with you guys about how things go because it, this works. Okay, this works. It's super simple, but the answer often is we spend way too much time, and I've said this before, we spend way too much time looking further when all of the answers are right before us. We spend so much time looking for life and existence on other planets when we know it's going to be, if there is anything, which it's so minuscule, it's not really benefit. Well, yeah, I shouldn't even say that, but what it comes down to is we have food here. We have water here. We have, well, there's going to be some debate there about the breathable oxygen, the food, the water. Okay, I'm getting myself into a wormhole. It's supposed to be an analogy, okay, which comes down to quit reaching out there when you got right here what you need, okay? The answers are within you. The answers are very simple most of the time. Our brains are designed to try to pick everything apart and do so in a way that is way more complicated than it needs to be. And that's a lot of where overthinking comes into play. Overthinking is what's going to get you smacking into the road. Exactly. Learning wisdom the hard way, day by day. Unfortunately, in the 40 years I've been around, I've had a lot of hard ways hit me. And so now I'm here to share a few of those with you guys. So hopefully somebody can learn from my mistakes. Maybe just one person. If I can save one person or if I can help one person. Anyway, I'm going to cut out of this live chat because I'm going to start rambling even harder than I have. Natik, hit me up over on Facebook. You guys hit me up in the comments down below over on Facebook, on Instagram. You can email me if you don't want your identity to be known. Um, let's talk about it. If there was any value here, again, please like, share, subscribe. It helps exponentially when you do so. And if I'm doing something good, let me know. You guys are doing great. Quickly, um, for you guys who are here, if you've seen Natik here, go over to his channel. He's got some really awesome information that he shares and a really, really amazing positive attitude. He's a beautiful soul. There are tons of YouTubers out here who are amazing, okay? But this guy, seriously, look in the comments, find his name, go over to his channel, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, watch his videos. He's got some great energy. Yeah! All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here, but I'm going to be checking back in. I'm going to let you guys know how this works. I'm going to show you how I dominate by identifying the problems And now just saying, you know what? It's okay. I forgive myself. And now I'm going to execute my plan, which was in the last part. Now what? I'm executing that in a good way. Be back soon, and love and light.